yeah, so now in terms of announcements, let's move on. So all right, so a couple of very important things. First and foremost, at the end of Norway Chess, I spoke about the rest of the year going forward and what my plans were going to be, and those plans have changed. Change the layout? What do you mean? Oh, I'm on the wrong scene. Sorry, you're right. Wrong scene. Yeah. Yeah, so those plans have changed from the standpoint that I am now going to be competing in the FIDE World Cup, which will be happening at the end of next month. I can turn the music. I can stop the music. Sure. I will be competing in the FIDE World Cup, which will be happening at the end of July in Baku, Azerbaijan. So I am actually going to be competing. I know at the end of Norwich Chess, I said I wasn't going to. I had a conversation with FIDE. I was able to work it out. So I will be playing. Get those circuit points. Well, it's not really about circuit points. It's that I wanted to play. So I will be playing in the FIDE World Cup there. We will, of course, have coverage on our Kick channel here with Jan Ludwig Hammer and others. So we are going to be playing in the World Cup. Additionally, I will be playing in Isle of Man as well. So I'm going to be playing in both of those tournaments. We will have live coverage on our channel. So those are the upcoming events that I have. Those are both classical tournaments. I was not originally intending to play. Isle of Man was always on the cards, but the World Cup was not on the cards. Am I trying to become a world champion? Well, it's not about becoming a world champion. It's the fact that I do enjoy playing chess. I do enjoy playing tournaments here and there. And if I wasn't going to play the World Cup, I'd probably be going about like 3 or 4 months at least without another tournament. And honestly, like it's fun to play, and FIDE has been very accommodating in terms of making this happen. I have to say that too. Like, for all the things I dislike about FIDE, there are certain things you do have to give credit where credit is due. So World Cup, if I do go deep, will last for about 3.5 weeks. It's going to be a very long tournament. So that is basically the big announcement. I have the World Cup. I have Isle of Man coming up, both those tournaments. There will probably be some other big announcements in the near future as well, but that's the big stuff for right now. I've been working on it for the last week or so. Accommodating, yes, because for anyone who's wondering, I initially declined my invitation to the World Cup due to something else which was supposed to happen and didn't end up happening. But yes, I had a conversation. It's able to make it work out. Do they offer you more appearance money? It has nothing to do with appearance money whatsoever. There's a prize fund. I think top prize is 130,000 bananas, if I'm not mistaken, if you win the World Cup, something like that at any rate. So that is basically the big announcement. Definitely changes all my plans for the next for the next month or so going forward. Someone says someone's in the World Cup. Yes, you guys, thank you for that. Someone who's like number 60 in the world or something now. I'm not even gonna touch that topic. Let's cover this article. This is chess.com 100 most influential companies of 2023. It's time to acknowledge chess.com is named in prestigious top 100 most influential companies list. Article by chess.com. Who would have seen this coming before 2023? Who would have seen this coming before 2020? The Queen's Gambit and the rise of chess as an esport. Chess.com, the world's leading chess platform, has been named in Time's prestigious 100 most influential companies of 2023 list. The site, founded in 2005 by college friends Eric Alabes and Jay Severson, is part of an impressive list which you can find here. Chess.com was titled as a disruptor alongside NVIDIA, Canva, Duolingo, OpenAI, and Discord. The cover features Kim Kardashian. Yeah, okay. So first things first, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I don't want to be like super negative, but let's be real. When I think of chess.com, I do not think of chess.com alongside NVIDIA. Let's be very clear. It's not the same thing whatsoever. That's the first thing. Anyway, yeah, so here's a picture for all the people at home. So there you go. All right, let's keep going. NVIDIA is a $1 trillion company. Yeah. Okay. Inside the citation praises chess.com for its savvy and often comical marketing strategy and notes how the site has grown into younger markets. About the accolade, Eric said, "For the last 17 years, we've been focused on our mission of serving and growing the chess community. It's a huge and humbling honor to have this recognized. Chess has the power to impact and improve lives, and I'm incredibly happy to see that recognized by Time magazine." All right. This year, chess.com and chess in general has seen an astonishing rise in popularity that has catapulted the game up the app charts. At various points, chess.com has hit #1 on both Google Play and the US iOS App Store. In May, chess.com's membership went past 140 million worldwide, which represents a 355% increase. Sorry, I need to ban somebody. 1 second. Adios, amigo. See you later. Which represents a 355% increase since January 2020, with 150,000 new users registered each day. The site also had more than 57 million monthly active users, playing 840 million games during the month, up 550% since January 2020. Chess.com is the 114th ranked site on the internet. Okay. Across nearly every metric, the figures have gone through the roof, even leading to some embarrassing outages at the start of the year as chess.com's server struggled to cope. Now, this is important to note, by the way, when we talk about chess.com's server struggling to cope, because there has been this big debate on Twitch and between Twitch and Kick, where you had people like Hassan and Pokemon saying that Kick servers are terrible, they can't handle traffic. Obviously, if this happened on a real site, that wouldn't be the case. But in return, what I would say to that is, when you have someone like Hassan saying this, the issues that Kick had when XQC moved over to the platform are the exact same issues that chess.com had, and chess.com is a top 100 company, so Hassan does not know what the heck he's even talking about. On that note, let's keep going with the article. Here we go. The list of celebrity chess fans who have talked about playing chess recently reads like a who's who of popular culture. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Howard Stern, Will Smith, Ben Affleck, Woody Harrelson, the list goes on. All right. It has even been reported that playing chess has become so popular in classrooms that the use of chess.com has been banned by some school districts in Utah. The New York Times also reported on chess.com's stealth campaign that's getting your kids hooked on chess. We make no apology for trying to make chess popular, said Eric. It's what we always set out to do and what we work hard at every day to grow the game. Okay. College friends Eric and Jay bought the chess.com domain for $55,000 in 2005 with the aim of creating the world's best online chess community. Following its acquisition of the Play Magus Group last year, chess.com now employs more than 650 remote workers. Its ecosystem includes Chess Kid, the dedicated site for juniors, Learn Chess with Dr. Wolf, Chessable, Chess24, Aim Chess, the Play Chess Magus suite of apps, and the Magus Chess Academy. Yeah, so pretty amazing they bought the domain name for $55,000, which is kind of wild, actually. $55,000 is a lot. That's a lot of money for a website. But obviously chess.com is considered one of the top 100 companies in the world, apparently. So yeah, it's actually a pretty light article. But now you're probably asking, well, why did I cover this article, right? You're probably asking, why did I cover this article? And this is where I'm going to move on. The reason I cover this article is because I'm now, I've always been very straight with you guys and honest about where I feel like chess is going. This is where I'm going to tell you guys that as far as the future goes, I do not see chess.com sort of taking over for FIDE. As I look forward to the future, I think that chess.com of course, they have a very dominant grip on the online sphere in terms of chess, no doubt, all the tournaments, everything else they do. But I do not foresee a world where FIDE is not in charge of over-the-board chess. And so when I look at the future going forward, I don't think that chess.com is going to end up taking over. And as such, I think that FIDE is going to be around. And I think that's why when I look towards the future, like, I do think what FIDE is doing with these events is important. And I think that I'm probably going to be playing more FIDE related events going forward, beyond even just like the World Cup and Isle of Man, because I don't think that chess.com is going to take over. So because of that also plays a role in terms of like my conversations with FIDE. I just, I don't have to love FIDE. There are many things that FIDE does that I'm not a fan of. I mean, just because I'm playing these tournaments isn't going to be like, I'm going to say FIDE is the greatest thing ever. I think FIDE does many things wrong, but I don't think that chess.com is going to be taking over as far as the over-the-board chess market goes. And that's why I want to cover this article, and why also just going forward, I think there is a chance I'm going to be playing more events. But you're not going to find FIDE on prestigious lists. Of course you're not going to. I mean, they do 100 things wrong, but they do certain things right. I mean, it's like you do 100 things wrong, but you do one thing right kind of situation. That's how I'm going to put it. So anyone who thinks that I'm going to be like, that I'm just like going to suddenly say that FIDE is like the greatest thing ever, I'm not. But again, I do think that over the board chess, I think FIDE is going to continue to be relevant in that sphere. And I think for that reason, You know, that's also why I'm excited to play the World Cup and all these events. But yeah, I'm not getting paid money to say this to you guys. I'm just keeping it straight with you guys that as far as I see it, I think that FIDE, I think that as far as over the board chess go, FIDE is going to have a grip on that for a long time going forward. That might change, of course, but I just based on things I've seen, I think chess.com has other things going on. You look at all the online tournaments, things of that nature. I don't think chess.com is going to be directly competing. That's my take. So I did want to cover this article. How's it related? Well, you're probably wondering, well, like, why am I playing FIDE tournaments? What's going on? And as I said, I think chess is a very prestigious, influential company, but I think their sphere is going to be online. I don't think it's going to be over the board. So that's also where, like, I mean, we'll see, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So what's my take? I missed it. My take is very simple. I think chess.com dominates the online market. I think FIDE is going to be relevant to the over the board market. I think, of course, if you were to ask me to give you a crystal ball in 20 years, I could see a world where chess.com is not relevant and FIDE is not relevant either. I could see both those being possible, but if that happens, it's going to be something that doesn't exist at the moment, in my opinion. What changed your mind? Well, I just when I look at the online tournaments, I look at all the issues chess.com has with them. You look at like Arena Kings, you look at Title Tuesday, all these sudden rule changes, you know, Chess Champions Tour with only, actually I'll talk about Chess Champions Tour, which I think has to be pointed out too, which I think with the Chess Champions Tour, if you go back a year when there was competition between chess.com and chess24, you had 3 tournaments. You had the Global Chess Championship, you had the Rapid Chess Championship, and you had the Chess Champions Tour. Now, Global Championship and the Rapid Chess Championship were both on chess.com. The Chess Champions Tour was on chess24. With chess.com, they basically have we went from having 3 sets of tournaments to having 1 tournament. So what you have is you have now the Chess Champions Tour, but you don't have a Global Chess Champions Tour. You do not have the Rapid Chess Championship. So you went from having 3 opportunities for top level players to having 1 tournament. It went from a series of 3 tournaments to 1 tournament. And that is not a good thing, in my opinion. And also for a lot of people who are watching, well, you might think, well, the money's more, but there's no guaranteed qualification. Like, so for example, if I did badly in the Chess Champions Tour last year, I could play the Rapid Chess Championship. Or if I did badly in the in that, I could play the Global Chess Championship. There were many different opportunities that were out there with 3 events that you could play in, and chess.com combined them into 1 event. So you went from having 3 series of tournaments to having 1 tournament. And that is not a good thing, honestly. So that's why, like, I think, you know, when I look at that, I think chess.com is probably going to focus on something like that first, as opposed to like over the board chess as a whole. I think that's the bottom line. Am I going to play only up maybe later on? Actually, it's nearly 9:30, so I guess I'll just keep talking about this until then. FIDE and All Chess have neglected the Jose Raul Capablanca chess format, which could create a triple crown, undisputed 3-crown, 3-belt kind of champion in boxing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's possible, but what do you mean? 960 classical rapid blitz? I mean, there are 4 types. Four types. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what the future holds, but at any rate, I'm excited that I'm gonna have the chance to play. I'm gonna have the chance to play in the World Cup, to play in Isle of Man, and I think for the fans, you guys want to see me play more, so you will get to see me play in both of those events. What is the format for which? For the World Cup? World Cup is actually, I'll pull up the regulations so you guys can see it. FIDE regulations, World Cup. So yeah, qualification spots don't really matter. It's so basically here's the stuff that people wonder. It's going to have it's going to have 156 players. So it has 156 players. It starts with 128. So basically it's going to be a knockout format, I think, from round 2 on with 128 players. So it goes like 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. It's straight up knockout. It's going to be 2 games of classical chess. Font size is 5. Is it too small? I thought you guys could see it. Is it too small? I'll make it bigger if it's too small. I mean, okay. This is starting to look a little bit weird, but whatever. Is it too small? Maybe it is. I'll make it a little. I mean, I know it's a little bit janky, but whatever. Yeah. So it's going to be it's going to start with 128 players down to 64. I'll cover the Global Chess League after this, but it's 128, 64, 32, 68, etc. Pairings, whatever, 206, doesn't matter. Colors don't matter. What people want to know are the tie breaks format. So here's what you have. Here's what actually everybody wants to see, the tie break. So you play 2 games of classical chess. So if you win 1 game, draw 1 game, you win the match, you advance to the next round with 64 players. If you draw both of the 2 games, or you win one and lose one. After the game is tied, you have 2 games of 25 minutes plus 10-second increment. If the score is still drawn after the 2 rapid games of 25 minutes, you'll play 2 games with 10 minutes plus 10-second increment. And if it's still drawn after that, you'll play 2 more games with 3 minutes with 1 second increment. And if it's still tied after that, you have, I think, Armageddon. Is your head a little bit big? I assume you're trolling, Dark Assassin. My head is big. What do you mean is my head big? What do you mean is my head big? Well, what exactly am I saying that's supposed to be arrogant or like really like pro me? I don't know what you mean. Or are you literally saying my head looks big in the cam? I don't know what you're saying. Anyway, I don't know, whatever. Okay, anyway, yeah, if the game is drawn, wait, sorry, no, if the game is drawn, you have sorry, it's 5 minutes plus 3 seconds. If the game's still drawn, then you have time control of some amount of minutes. You have 3 minutes plus 2. If the game, yeah, I mean, it's very, very long. It goes on and on. But anyway, here's what we have. Also, what other people want to see is, of course, the cash, the prize money at the end of the day, which is if you lose in round 1, you get 3,000 bananas. Okay, if you lose in round 2, let me pull this over so you guys can see. This is all that matters. If you lose in round 2, you get 6,000 bananas. If you lose in round 3, you get 10,000 bananas. You lose in round 4, it's 16. If you lose in round 5, you get 25. If you lose in round 6, you get 35,000. If you lose in round 4, it's 50k. You lose your fourth one 50, third place 60,000, runner up gets 80, and the winner gets $110,000. So it's a lot of money at stake potentially. Also, I believe the top 3 players qualify to the World Cup, or not World Cup, to the candidates tournament. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to playing there. It's going to be in Baku, Azerbaijan. It's going to be, I think, starting July 25th, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's what we have. Let me close this, of course. And yeah, so it's gonna be pretty exciting. I'm gonna be playing in it, of course. It's starting July 25th. We will have coverage here on our channel, and that's that. There's no fee to enter, but we'll see. Yeah. So kudos to changing positions. We're probably not going to play in FIDE events. As I said, at the end of the day, you have to think about the future. You have to think about where things are going in chess. And with the online tournaments, especially with me being unable to play in the qualifier, like I don't see myself playing in any more of the Chess Champions Tour events until the end of the year. I think I said this before, but the Chess Champions Tour event, the qualifier, was held on a day when I could not play. It was physically impossible for me to play. I had other obligations, and I was already intending to skip the next Chess Champions Tour event, which is at the end of August, I think it is, as well. So being unable to play the qualifier, unable to play the next event, which is like beginning of July, and then already having planned a short vacation with my parents at the end of August and unable to play next event, I mean, I'm looking at a pretty barren schedule when it comes to chess content if I'm not playing tournaments. So that also plays some role. What about the Grand Swiss? I'm playing there too. That's part of the package deal in terms of the World Cup. But yeah, so I mean, it's not so much that I don't think FIDE is some great organization. I'm not going to suddenly say like, hooray, FIDE is the best thing ever. I don't believe that at all. I think they do a million things wrong. They do a couple things right. Like that's not going to change. But at any rate, if I'm looking at my schedule without the next 2 Chess Champions Tour events being possible, what else am I going to do if I don't play the World Cup, or I don't play Isle of Man? I mean, I don't have tournaments, and yes, I could just stream 8 hours every day like I'm doing right now, but I think people do want to see me compete, and I don't feel like it's going to be too taxing on me to play. And hey, if I don't do well in the World Cup and I lose in the first round, I'm there 3 days, I come back home and I get to stream again. So that's kind of how I look at it broadly speaking. And that plays a role as well. If you go deep in the World Chess Champions a month or something, is it not worth it to stream yourself that long? Well, I mean, we'll have coverage on our channel. Obviously, we'll have YouTube recaps. And obviously, if I go deep, I'll make some kind of money, which compensates as well. So that's just how it looks at it. In terms of the field, I think Magnus is playing. I think most top players are playing except for Ding Liren. And I think Jing Liren is not playing. I think Gucci Reza Firouzja is not playing either. Those are the 2 players who I believe are not playing as of right now. There also are 3 spots up for grabs in the World Cup to qualify to the candidates. Anand doesn't really play. I mean, I've spoken to Vishy before. I mean, Vishy is not a pro player. Vishy plays a tournament here or there to keep his rating active, but Vishy is just chilling. He's helping Gukesh and the Indian kids become monsters. So I don't really put Vishy in that category, although Vishy, of course, one of the greatest of all time. Magus is playing, Fabiano is playing. I think everybody is playing as far as I can tell. So that is the big announcement in terms of what we have going on, and that's that.